Welcome to the Eau Claire Muse, where through stimulating conversations, we inspire our community to create the future it wants. This podcast is produced by the UW Eau Claire Entrepreneur Program. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Eau Claire Muse. I'm your host, Alexa Caperi, and I am a fifth-year senior here at UW Eau Claire. And I am a double comprehensive major, management with an emphasis in entrepreneuring and general marketing.
And I'm Ann Ruppno, the other co-host, and I have the pleasure of directing the entrepreneur program, and I teach a couple of courses in it. So we are coming to you today after just recently dropping a podcast, two of them actually, on starting a business well at UWEC. Hopefully you've been following along and you heard Klein Leonard, a recent grad, talk to us about her business and what it was like to start it while she was here and where she's been going with it since. And then Dan Beck followed, and he is also a graduate of the UW Eau Claire Entrepreneur Program. He has been out, however, about 5 years and has a business here in Eau Claire. So if you haven't listened to those, do go back. We were just talking this morning here as we're taping how we loved those interviews and are excited about them, which is a little bit why we are bringing you a brief podcast today. Is Alexa and I have a lot of reflections and certain things that struck us from the past two conversations. And so we want to chat about that with you. So, Alexa, do you want to kick it off? Like, what kind of struck you from the conversations with Klein and Dan?
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the biggest things that struck me when we were interviewing Dan, I think that it was his view on how education is great for entrepreneuring and how important it is to get those valuable skills. As a first generation college student, I also grew up in an entrepreneurial household. I've seen my parents succeed in their businesses. And as an entrepreneur myself, it's been very interesting to see like the differences between like my journey and theirs. And just being able to take the different lessons that I've learned through all of my academic classes and experiences and being able to apply those to my business has been really, really interesting. And just being able to get that like formal education has been so influential in comparison to like entrepreneurs who are learning from YouTube or learning as they go, the whole fail forward type of a deal. And I think that the part about education that struck me was just, this is the whole purpose for me going to college, is to gain this knowledge and to be able to apply it in the real world for what I'm going to be doing later on.
Wow.
So that was one that really hit me. But I think from Klein's, it was how proactive she was.
Yeah.
And like we had chatted a little bit about analysis paralysis and how you can get stuck like analyzing different situations and planning and all of that fun stuff. But unless you're actually going out and doing it, it doesn't really happen. And just as starting a business myself, it's really hard to get out of that analysis paralysis because you do just sit there and you're just like, okay, so here's my plan. Like, this is how I'm going to execute it. But if you don't actually take those steps, you can sit there for months.
Yeah, you can live in your head.
You can literally live in your head.
I'm pretty good at that too.
Yeah.
But it does take kind of forcing yourself out of your comfort zone to take some action when you don't know what the end result is going to be. You can't see the whole path.
Right.
And you want it to be so great and so perfect and a great result. And yet at some point you have to start.
Right. And it's all about like breaking that fear barrier and growing into success.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. I was struck myself with just the relationship that community can have with our UWEC students as they are exploring, thinking about starting a business and actually starting it. I've probably told you and others before about my passion when I started this role here at UW-Eau Claire about 8 years ago. I realized that I could only help to continue. There already was an entrepreneur program, and I was going to pick that up and hopefully continue to take it forward into new places. And it was very clear to me that our entrepreneur program would only be as good as our relationship and interaction with community, and that we couldn't be a great entrepreneur program if we stayed on campus and just focused everything here on campus, that we would need community partners, community involvement, interactions between students and community entrepreneurs, community supporters, etc. And it's been wonderful to see that we have that from our community. I didn't know getting started what that would be like or how that would pan out. So to hear both, first Klein talk about her interactions with Jess and Adam Gardner from Hello Adorn, and she had a scholarship that helped her interact with them and gave her that reason to, because they've graciously given a scholarship to an entrepreneur student the past couple of years, which we're grateful for that, and just to see how that influenced her and how getting to know them and their caring and expertise that they shared with her was instrumental, and that's just fun to hear.
Yeah, it really is. And just all of those different community interactions, and then even Dan's with Eric Wolf.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. That connection is, you can't put a price on it or a measurement on it.
No, you really can't. The mentorship of all of that. And like, you've been one of my mentors here, and I've been lucky enough that you've been on campus, but getting out into the community and getting connected with other people, like that's a daunting thing for a lot of students.
Yeah.
But it's been very, very neat to see a lot of different students being able to actually break their fear, get out of their comfort zone, and go out and do that.
Yeah, for sure. And you can give the theory, you can share the hows of starting a business, but there's something about somebody from outside campus that underscoring that or telling their story that you just students take it in. Mm-hmm. Way more than they take it in from somebody
class.
Standing in a class. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just when we're in classes and we're at college, we're just like, okay, like this is educational, taking this in, like learn by the book. But when we go out into the community, it's like, okay, this is real life. Like these people have actually done it. And like, yeah, okay, you've had great experiences yourself and whatnot, but you're a professor. So you're telling all these students all these different things, but they're not really making that connection to the real world because they're still sitting on campus in chairs listening to the lecture.
Right.
But still going back to like the point that Dan had brought up about how formal education has been so impactful, I think that's 100% necessary, but I think that the relationship between having the formal experience and also the community mentorship is so impactful for student entrepreneurs.
Right. I love that because it's both. And the connections that they built and that you are building, Alexa, and others with community are helping to be made through their campus experience. So that's really vital. We were just brainstorming a little bit before we started taping today about how we want to continue this series, and the excitement that we have in hopefully going out to community now and bringing some community entrepreneurial supporters in to talk about what it's like for them to interact with students and that side of things.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't give a whole lot away. Still gotta keep some of it a surprise, but I think there's going to be a lot of good things that are going to be coming out of this semester here from the entrepreneur program, from the Eau Claire Muse, from campus and community.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Yep, me neither. So we'll see you guys back next time and hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Eau Claire Muse today. Please check out the show notes at theeauclairemuse.com, and don't forget to like this segment and follow our social media pages so you don't miss out on any of our amazing guests. Today's podcast was brought to you by the UW Eau Claire Entrepreneur Program, an active partner in our region's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Thank you for listening.